Kahit may pagsubok, umarating, Diyos ang patuloy natin. Lahat ng hirap ngayon, nararanasan ay pansamantala. Pag-asa ay darating, mag-inigin, sisikat na ang iwala sa dilim. Magkasama, magkakapit, sa hamon ng buhay, di makakapit. Ako ang iyong kasama, kaibigan, sa ating napapagala. Magkasama, magkakapit, naman mabuhay at magmamagit. Tayo ay magkasama, kaibigan, sa ating napapagala. Magkasama tayo, kakapit. Magkasama, magkakapit, magkasama, magkakapit, magkasama, magkakapit.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ng pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, gusto great, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver protein. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki ng produktong gawa sa kanya. Ito ay mabibili sa Dashen, Geta Road sa Sebastian Phase 3, Tinauganan, Talmansing. At para sa mga malanayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginan Malu Reyes Nore. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na!
Magandang umaga po, mga kasangga. Nandito na naman po ang inyong Kuya Dong. Samahan niyo po ako dito sa ating 30 minutes na daily dose of news na MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Tayo po ay maghahatid ng mga nagbabagang balita sa loob at labas ng ating bansa. Sa loob lamang po ng 30 minutos. Kasi po. At titiyakin po natin na pipiliin po natin yung mga balita na nais namin ipabatid sa inyo. At alam naman po natin na busy po tayo sa ating araw na ito because it's Friday, July 7, Biyernes. Katapusan na naman po ng linggo. Si Papelarin Gerald, nanonood ngayon sa ating TikTok Live. We're broadcasting live in both TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Sabay-sabay na po. Thanks for watching. At bago po natin simulan yung ating pagbabalita ngayong umaga, samahan niyo po muna ako sa isang maikling panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal naming lumikha, maraming salamat sa bagong araw na pinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway pagkaloob mo pa sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ang kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at sa pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa iyong anak na si Jesus, na aming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen.
MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Maging sa inyo ni Kuya Eric.
And for today's summary of news updates, DOJ building economic sabotage case versus onion cartel. Marcos to sign Agrarian Emancipation Act today. Comelec warns versus vote buying in BSKE. Climate change. El Nino drive hottest June on record. Vivox. Mayon spews more volcanic debris. Moving on to our first update. DOJ building economic sabotage case versus onion cartel. Report by Daphne Galvez to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The Department of Justice is building a case of economic sabotage against a network of industry players allegedly involved in an onion cartel that has been blamed for a spike in prices last year. Justice Secretary Jesus Crespin Remulla said yesterday. Speaking to reporters, Remulla said the DOJ has already conducted studies on onion smuggling and is now planning to gather evidence against people identified as part of the cartel. We are looking at the minutes now on the congressional hearings, and of course, we will look at our own notes to be able to put together a good case of economic sabotage against those who insist on the creation of a cartel within the country, he added. According to the Justice Chief, the same names that floated during a probe in the House of Representatives are now emerging in the DOJ's own investigation, and that authorities just have to catch them in the act. The House inquiry, led by Marikina Rep. Stella Timbo, found alleged collusion among industry players to control the price of the commodity, a finding that Remulla echoed. Meanwhile, Speaker Martin Romualdez made assurances yesterday that the House of Representatives will fast-track the passage of the measure that will tighten the noose against smugglers of onion and other agricultural products. As soon as the start of the second regular session of the 19th Congress on July 24, We will immediately buckle down to work for the passage of the proposed amendments to the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act, Romualdez said. The measure is among 20 bills slated for approval by Congress before year-end during the second Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, full meeting presided over by Marcos in Malacanang on Wednesday. The inclusion of this measure among the LEDAC priority legislation manifests the commitment of Congress to support the President's drive against unfair business practices that hurt consumers and local farmers alike, but also derail the administration's effort to attain food security, Romualdez said. Enactment of this measure will institutionalize and improve mechanisms as well as provide more stringent penalties that would serve as a strong deterrent against smuggling of agricultural products, including onion, he added. Marcos earlier ordered the National Bureau of Investigation and DOJ to go after smugglers of onion and other agricultural products, based largely on the findings of the probe conducted by the House Committee on Agriculture and Food. Last May, during a hearing of the House Committee on Agriculture and Food, Kimbo tagged a cartel operating through a web of companies as the culprit that manipulated the supply and prices of onion. Romualdez vowed the House's full support on Marcos' directive for a clampdown on price manipulators behind the onion cartel. This is a welcome development, a decisive action that manifests the President's resolve to clamp down on unscrupulous businessmen preying on hapless Filipino consumers and hampering his administration's efforts to sustain the robust economy, he said. It was upon the initiative of Romualdez to call for a congressional probe on onion smuggling after the price of the agricultural product hit a record high of 700 peso per kilo in December last year. The President's directive should be enough to deter further supply manipulation of agricultural products and help stabilize prices, especially amid reports that prices of onion are on the rise again, the Speaker said. Cavite Rep. Elpidio Barzaga Jr., chairman of the House Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, said Marcos' directive only shows the chief executive's seriousness in protecting the welfare of the public, especially ordinary people. The President's order also shows that he had been following our hearings and that he recognizes the huge role it played in helping dismantle the biggest onion cartel in the country to restore the prices of agricultural products to its previous level, he said. Rep. Zaldico, who heads the powerful House Appropriations Committee, thanked Marcos for his instructions to conduct an in-depth criminal investigation against smugglers, hoarders, and price fixers of agricultural products. The congressman from Ako Bicol party list said the President's order is timely in the face of rising prices of commodities like onions. The President's order to investigate and prosecute smugglers, hoarders, and price manipulators shows his firm resolve to end serious economic crimes that victimize millions of ordinary Filipinos, he said. With additional report from Delon Porcalia. Next on our headlines, Marcos to sign Agrarian Emancipation Act today. Report by Bella Cariaso to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. President Marcos will sign into law today the new Agrarian Emancipation Act, which will officially condone at least 58 billion peso in arrears incurred by more than 600,000 farmer beneficiaries from his late father's land reform program under Presidential Decree 27, including agrarian reform beneficiaries or ARBs under the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program of the late former President Corazon Aquino. Agrarian Reform Secretary Conrado Estrella III said that Marcos will also lead the simultaneous nationwide distribution of at least 31,831 land titles to 23,699 agrarian reform beneficiaries. After the signing of the new Agrarian Emancipation Act this morning at Malacanang. According to Australia, the new Emancipation Act condones all the debts incurred by ARBs, including unpaid amortizations, interest, and surcharges. Existing agrarian reform laws require ARBs to pay for the land awarded to them in annual installments with 6% interest for a maximum period of 30 years. By freeing farmers from their agrarian debt and ensuring broader support services and credit facilities, the Marcos administration has given more resources to our farmers to increase the productivity of their farms and uplift the quality of their lives, Australia said. Australia said of the total land titles to be distributed today, 17,837 are electronic land titles, e-titles, under the support to parcelization of lands for individual titling or project or split, benefiting 16,526 ARBs covering 23,248 hectares of land. The balance is 13,994 emancipation patents and certificates of land ownership award, benefiting 12,945 ARBs, covering 7,378,000 hectares of agricultural land. Central Luzon and Calabarzon land title distribution will be held in Malacanang, while the regional distribution will be conducted by the DAR regional officials and local government unit representatives in the New Town Plaza Hotel in Baguio City for the Cordillera Administrative Region. Mariano Marcos State University in Batak, Ilocos Norte for Ilocos Region, AKC Country Homes in Puerto Princesa City for the Mimaropa Region, Puerto Sports Complex in Pili, Camarines Sur for the Bicol Region, Cali City Arena for Western Visayas, Uy Teaching Auditorium in Dumaguete City for Central Visayas, Leyte Progressive School in Tacloban City for Eastern Visayas, Cultural and Sports Center in Dipolog City for the Zamboanga Peninsula, Limquetcay Center Atrium in Cagayan de Oro City for Northern Mindanao, Arcadia Event Center in Matina, Davao City for Davao Region, Sultan Kudarat Sports and Cultural Complex in Isulan, Sultan Kudarat for Sok Sargen, and Naligayan Grounds Capital, Agusan del Sur for Caraga. Meanwhile, Farmers Group Kilusang Magbubukid ng Pilipinas yesterday welcomed the emancipation of the new Agrarian Emancipation Act, saying it will provide relief to more than 600,000 farmers. KMP Chair Danilo Ramos said that condonation of land amortization is long overdue. It took the government 35 long years to recognize the sheer incapacity of farmers to pay for the land and realize that amortization is a counterproductive burden to ARBs, Ramos said. He added that based on the data from the Land Bank of the Philippines, only 17% of ARBs were able to pay the amortization of lands awarded to them. There's still much to be done beyond condonation, the most urgent of which is enacting a new and genuine agrarian reform program to replace the failed RA 6657 or the CARB, ensuring a truly redistributive free land distribution program will fulfill the genuine emancipation of farmers and ARBs, Ramos added. According to him, there are still more than 7 million farmers and more than 7 million hectares of agricultural lands not covered by the government's agrarian reform program. For our next headline news, COMELEC warns versus vote buying in barangay SK election. Report by Mayan J. Malin to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has warned candidates against buying votes in all forms as this year's Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections, or BSKE, approach. We are cautioning everyone that anything of value, may it be an object, service, or assistance during a partisan political activity in which they expect something in return, may be considered vote buying. COMELEC spokesman John Rex Laudianco said in Filipino in an interview Wednesday night with the chiefs in Signal TV's One News. Laudianco admitted that elected officials cannot be prevented from endorsing and expressing support for a barangay and SK candidate. But he said, make sure that no public funds will be used once you support a candidate. Laudianco also reminded candidates that premature campaigning before October 30 is prohibited and their spending limit is 5 peso per registered voter. Winning candidates cannot assume the post until they have submitted their statement of contribution and expenditures. Legal Network for Truthful Elections, or LENTE, policy specialist Helen Maureen Graido encourage voters to document and report the illegal use of funds by barangay and SK candidates. Lente launched an anti-Apple Watch in a bid to stop such violations, referring to brazen disregard of election rules and guidelines. Moving on to our global update. Climate change, El Nino drive hottest June on record. Report by Benjamin Legendre for Agence France Press and Philippine Star. Paris, France. The world saw its hottest June on record last month. The EU's Climate Monitoring Service said Thursday, as climate change and El Nino weather pattern look likely to drive another scorching northern summer. The announcement from EU monitor Copernicus marked the latest in a series of records for a year that has already seen a drought in Spain and fierce heat waves in China and the United States. The month was the warmest June globally at just over zero point 0.5 degrees Celsius above the 1991 to 2020 average, exceeding June 2019, the previous record, by a substantial margin. The EU monitor said in a statement from its C3S climate unit. Temperature reached June records across northwest Europe, while parts of Canada, United States, Mexico, Asia, and Eastern Australia were significantly warmer than normal, Copernicus noted. On the other hand, it was cooler than normal in Western Australia, the Western United States, and Western Russia, he said. Hottest day ever. It was the latest in a series of heat records over recent years, reflecting the impact of global warming driven by greenhouse gases released from human activity. Preliminary readings published Wednesday by U.S. meteorologists indicated Tuesday was the hottest day ever recorded, based on data from the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's National Centers for Environmental Prediction. Copernicus noted that sea surface temperatures were higher globally than any previous June on record, with extreme marine heat waves around Ireland, Britain, and the Baltic. Antarctic sea ice reached its lowest extent for June since satellite observations began at 17% below average. CS3 C3S scientist Julian Nicholas told AFP the June record was driven largely by a very warm ocean surface temperatures in the Pacific and Atlantic due to El Nino, a periodic warming phenomenon. On top of that is this warming trend of the ocean absorbing 90% of heat released by human activity, he added. The global temperature was 0.53 degrees Celsius above the 30-year average at an average of 16.51 degrees Celsius or 61.72 degrees Fahrenheit, he calculated. June 2023 is way above the others. This is the kind of anomaly we are not used to, Nicolas said. Petteri Taalas, Secretary General for UN's World Meteorological Organization, warned on Monday that El Nino will greatly increase the likelihood of breaking temperature records and triggering more extreme heat in many parts of the world and in the ocean. He urged governments to mobilize preparations to limit the impact on our health, our ecosystems, and our economies. Heat wave deaths. El Nino is naturally occurring pattern associated with increased heat worldwide, as well as drought in some parts of the world and heavy rains elsewhere. In addition, human activity, mainly the burning of fossil fuels, is continuing to emit roughly 40 billion tons of planet-warming CO2 into the atmosphere every year, as well as withering crops, melting glaciers, and raising the risk of wildfires. Higher than normal temperatures also cause health problems ranging from heat stroke and dehydration to cardiovascular stress. In the United States, local officials said last week that at least 13 people died from an extreme heat wave in Texas and Louisiana. China issued its highest level heat alert for northern parts of the country as Beijing baked in temperatures around 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit. After a record hot June in Britain, water use restrictions were imposed in parts of southeastern England and Scotland. put regions on water scarcity alert. The world has warmed an average of nearly 1.2 degrees Celsius since the mid 1800s, unleashing extreme weather, including more intense heat waves, more severe droughts in some areas, and storms made fiercer by rising seas. Okay, good morning po sa mga nag-join sa FB, si Brother Edwin. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, bro. At si Grace also is watching. Grace, kita-kita tayo sa Mungkada later. Si Achim Biner is also watching. Good morning, Achim. Moving on to our regional update. Phoebos, Mayon spews more volcanic debris. Report by Romina Cabrera to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Mayon volcano continues to be restive as 9 pyroclastic density currents or PDCs and 243 rockfall events were monitored in the past 24 hours, according to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. Vivo said there were 7 dome collapse PDCs, locally known as Uson, or an avalanche of volcanic ash and hot gases that lasted for 1 to 4 minutes. 2 lava front PDCs that generated 300-meter high plumes were also monitored. Collapsed debris was deposited around 4,000 meters from the crater. Continuous moderate degassing from the summit crater produced plumes that rose 500 meters, while sulfur dioxide emissions averaged 1,621 tons on Wednesday. Phoebos reiterated its warning of a possible hazardous eruption within weeks or days. The agency recommended the evacuation of residents within the 6-kilometer permanent danger zone due to the threats of PDC's lava flow, rockfalls, and other volcanic hazards. Mayon had spewed 7 million point 3 cubic meters of volcanic materials since last month, according to Phoebos. Paul Alanis, resident volcanologist at the Lignon Hill Observatory in Legazpi, allayed fears that lava flow had spilled over the major gullies of the volcano. What they observe at night are the detached or collapsed debris from the oozing lava. These are not part of the lava flow. Lava flow remained confined in the Milisi and Bonga gullies, he said. EU aid. Meanwhile, the European Union is allocating 50,000 euros or approximately 3 million peso in emergency humanitarian assistance to families affected by Mayon's unrest. The EU funding will support the Philippine Red Cross in the distribution of emergency shelter items, sleeping and hygiene kits, as well as primary healthcare assistance. The aid will also be used to increase access to clean water supplies and sanitation facilities. The funding is part of EU's contribution to the Disaster Relief Emergency Fund of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Additional reports from Ces de Matera and Pia Lee Brago. So that concludes our updates for today, July 7. And here again, it's the summary of our news for today. DOJ building economic sabotage case versus onion cartel. Marcos to sign Agrarian Emancipation Act today. Comelec warns versus vote buying in BSKE or Barangay Sangguniang Kabataan election. Climate change, El Nino drive hottest June on record. And finally, Phoebox, Mayon spews more volcanic debris. Before we conclude our news reading for today, we'd like to extend our condolences to the family of Tessa Lugay, wife of our classmate Gerardo. So, condolence sa iyo, mate, Gerardo Lugay. We will be praying for the eternal repose of the soul of Sister Tessa. And condolence din sa mga naiwang anak, sila mga kaibigan natin, sila Jan at si Alicia. No? Jan and Alicia. Condolence sa inyo. And also for today, we will be starting off with the admission of patients sa ating Operation Summer Smile for children inflicted with the cleft lip and palate. Yung po mga may bingot. At last day na rin po ng screening ngayon sa Congressman Enrique Henrico Maco District Memorial Hospital. Matatagpuan po yan sa San Julian, Moncada, Tarlac. So, mas maganda po kung maaga na kayo. Kung hindi pa po na-screen yung anak nyo, mas maganda po ngayong umaga pa lang pumunta na kayo bago mag-alas 7. Malapit lang po yung Moncada. Lalong-lalo na po sa mga kasamahan natin, mga kasangga natin na nakatira bandang San Manuel, Paniki, Herona, Anao, at even the nearby towns of Nampikwan and Cuyapo, you are welcome. At mga taga-Pangasinan, if there are folks from Pangasinan who are hearing this message, pwede po mga taga-Pangasinan. So this is open to everyone. This is free, no? Wala pong bayad ito. Ang Operation Summer Smile na nangyari, no? Because of the combined efforts of first of all the provincial government of Tarlac through our Governor Susan Yap. Then we have the management of the hospital where we are conducting the surgical mission, Congressman Enrique Henrico Wangco District Memorial Hospital, led by Dr. Aguilar. Then we have the Philippine Band of Mercy, doon po manggagaling yung ating mga plastic surgeons, yung mga experts natin, at yung mga nurses who will be assisting. And also we will yung mga kasama pa po dito, yung mga nagsusupport na dito sa event na ito, we have the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, Tarlac Chapter, the Aslaging Pag-asa Tarlac, and Friends 78 of the College of the Holy Spirit. Yun po yung mga nagsanib puwersa para maisakatuparan po itong ating event na ito. And of course, we would like to thank also extend our gratitude to the businesses and individuals who have given to support this event. Mga nagbigay po ng tulong in terms of providing meriendas for the patients. Okay? So, maraming salamat po. And once I get the complete list of those who supported, I will be announcing it in our program. And also, announcing the July 29 event, yung pong first invitational. Let me read the information here. Magkasangga sa buhay, first invitational magkasangga para sa AITA. Play for a cause. A beneficiary po natin will be the Aita Abilen tribe in Sitio Socorro via yung pong administrators natin doon, yung pong nagpapatupad ng mga proyekto, UCCP Sitio Socorro under Pastor Bienvenido Torres, and of course supported by Conference Minister Dionisio Sanchez. Sila po yung ating mga lead doon na nag-aasikaso. At syempre naman po, yung pong mga proyekto nila na nakakatulong po sa komunidad na Sitio Socorro, yun po yung intended na tatanggap po ng ating proceeds ng event na ito. The event is scheduled on July 29, 2023. That's a Saturday. Game will start at 8 a.m. at the Smash Point Sports Center, Sunrise Subdivision, Barangay Marigualo, Tarlac City. Last day of entries will be on July 24. Ang bayad po sa registration, first entry is at 800 pesos and second entry is at 500 pesos. For the details, if you wish to pay via GCash, please visit yung Facebook page po ng Smash Point Sports Center. No? Smash Point Sports Center. Yun po yung listahan ninyo nang makuha po nyo yung ibang detalye na hindi ko naman kasi pwedeng i-announce dito. Then we have the contact person for entries for Tarlac is Coach MJ Magsino for the Tarlac Badminton Academy. And for Manila, it's Coach Jeff Monton for JMTC Manila. Yung pong contact numbers nila, nasa post din po. So please visit the Facebook page of Smash Point Sports Center, na yung kanilang Facebook page. I hope to see you there sa ating Magkasangga sa Buhay, first invitational magkasangga para sa AITA, Play for a Cause. Okay po, so that concludes our news reporting for today. At para po dun sa mga magpapa-opera ng cleft lip and palate, huwag po kakalimutan na magtungo po ngayon sa Congressman Enrique Henrico Wangco District Memorial Hospital. Ngayon po umaga, magpunta na po kayo para po sa screening. At kung magpapascreen pa lang po kayo, magdala na po kayo ng gamit. Kung sakali man po pumasa sa screening yung anak ninyo, diretso na po yung operasyon. I-admit na po siya. Bukas na po kasi yung schedule ng operation. July 8, which is tomorrow, yun na po yung ating araw ng surgery. So please, no, ano po tayo, ipamalita na po natin sa mga kasama natin para di naman po maaksaya yung pagkakataon. So that concludes our news reading for today and the public service. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant day. Morning. He has Paddy and si Gerard. Kalamyong is also watching. Good morning, bro. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. Para sa mga nasa TikTok po, thank you. Ate Julie, thanks for watching. Sige po, goodbye. Thank you.